Good afternoon. I've had a subscriber and a friend of the channel ask to do talk a little bit about this or to do a quick tutorial or something. So I thought I would just kind of show you what the PDF looks like. I will put a link to purchase this PDF. You can get it at Lulu in ebook for $2. It is quite frankly the best. It is quite frankly the best $2 I've ever spent in my entire life. Of course, I actually bought the paperback, so it was $7. But the point is, you cannot get a better value in a tabletop sports career football game. Even talking about my own career football games that I've designed and created, which you can get free, I still think this is a masterpiece by John M. Stater. He also makes a pen and paper baseball game, which I own, but I have never played. Because I just, if I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to do my favorite sport, football. So, a little introduction. He walks you through how he came up with the idea as a kid. You create teams with 3-6. So you create, John M. Stater, for those who don't know, was influenced by Dungeons and Dragons, like many of us were in our as kids in the 70s and 80s. And so you create a team like you create a character in old Dungeons and Dragons. You take 3-6 and you roll up 6 attributes. But instead of strength, intelligence, wisdom, constitution, and charisma, and intelligence, you roll up quarterback, running back, wide receivers, linemen, linebackers, and DBs. They're units. Those raw scores become the value of that unit, but they get a bonus. And that bonus is what is added up to give you an offensive power rating and a defensive power rating. And those are matched up for what's called league play. So you roll those teams up to get a raw number. You write that raw number down like you would in D&D, like your strength of 15, but you have a +4 modifier, so you put 15 plus 4 next to quarterbacks, right? Then you pick a coaching philosophy, run and shoot coach, smash mouth coach, or leave it alone and just be balanced. They modify the raw scores. So if you pick a run and shoot coach, the raw scores for receivers and DBs go up. Linemen and running backs go down. So having a certain kind of coach can give you a boost, but it can also hurt you somewhere. And so a team would look like this. You'd have your 6 attributes with their raw score and their modifier. That gives you totals of offense +8, defense +10. Pretty simple. Gives you an idea of what a simple 6-team league would look like, right? Because you're supposed to build your own teams, your own leagues. Then it has league play. League play is fast play. This is what I'm going to do for the whole year. But then I play the full simulator for the big games. So it's you roll for quarters. So your team is an 8 against a defense of 10. That's a +2. Your team would be a -2. You roll a d20 for every quarter. Subtract 2 from the d20 roll. This tells you how many points you score in a quarter. And then, of course, very quickly, you can, in 8 rolls, the game's over, and you have a total. You have head-to-head play that uses multiple dice. It has all the kind of traditional role-playing game rules, exploding dice, action dice. Obviously, it follows the football rules. They suggest a game log, home field advantage, coin toss. And then the game has kickoff and how to call punts and kickoffs, how to use field goals, how to call plays, how to call defense, and how to handle all of those types of play calls. I've made a cheat sheet for this that I cannot share because that would be taking all of his work and condensing it into a free giveaway, and that would be stealing his work. So I don't share the cheat sheet, but I advise people who want to play this in the full simulator that I would make a cheat sheet. You can see it's in the book here, but it's just easier to glance at one sheet and know what I need to do. So I would advise that if you're planning on playing the full sim. I am going to play some of the games this season in full sim, even if they're not championship games, like Game of the Weeks. I'll have full sim games. It's got penalties. It has injuries. It has, you name it, it has it. Then we have the off season. At the end of the season, every team goes through this paradigm. You first check to see if your team gains a market or loses a market or doesn't change. Then you have to roll. And these are all the markets that are in the game. Your teams don't have to be from these cities, but, for instance, if you want to be a town in Dakota, you would use the Dakota market. If you don't want to play Fargo, right, you'd find a closest market. Then you have income. This tells you, based on how you finish in the league, how much money you make based on the markets you have. And that's just not one market. You can end up, some teams are going to be making hundreds of millions of dollars if they have 5 or 6 markets and they're winning championships. Then you have an off-season roll. If you're a losing team, you have to make this roll to see if your fans get get fed up and want you to leave, or your market drops. Then we have team development. It's a simple D6 roll. You make that simple roll, and from 1 to 6, you're going to lose points. And then you can go through, though, and choose where you want to take those points off your raw scores, right? I just use a D6, right? You can roll a D20. I just roll a D6. It's you might have a 6, which sucks, but that's what I do. And then, of course, you can pay money out of your cash to do other things. And then we have a free D20 roll that every team gets one free roll to try to improve something or see what happens. Then there are star players and how they affect game. And then we have a sample of what the offseason looks like for the San Diego team. And then he also supplies 32 teams, fictional teams. So if you want to just sit down and start playing, you can. You don't have to make all these teams. He supplies a whole league in here. And then we get to the end of the book, and this is worth the $2 alone, folks. He provides a 6-team scheduler, an 8-team scheduler, a 10-team scheduler, a 12-team scheduler, and a 16-team scheduler. I would pay $2 to have, hell, I don't know what I would pay to have somebody devise schedules that I could use. I hate trying to schedule by hand. I'm pulling my hair out. It's a mathematical nightmare. So the fact that these schedules are included with this game, and you can just flip the schedules or reverse the schedules, it's genius. So you have those, how to set up your leagues if you need that help. And then, of course, he gives you the markets, right? So if you happen to be in Denver, this is your market. Red means major market. So I'm in Denver. I got the Denver market. But let's say in the offseason we win the championship. I make that roll, and it says I can add a market. I can then also add the Utah market, and I'm making double the money every year, right? So pretty cool. And you can also shrink markets. You can lose markets. If you have an opponent here, they can steal this market from you. So you have this thing going on there. And then, of course, here's the East Coast markets, pretty crowded over here. Dell currently is in Carolina market, and the new owner is in the Carolina market. So they're sharing this market. However, the Carolina owner just stole the North Carolina, Charlotte market. And so he has 2 markets, which means he's going to be making almost a third more money every year if he's a winner. Obviously, you need to be a winner. And then it gives you record sheets, like character sheet, like you would in a role-playing game. And then game log sheets if you want to track your games by hand for statistical performance. I do this with notebook paper. And then there it is. So I recommend this. I've said this before. This book, when I found this book, I was playing role-playing games, but I was no longer playing tabletop sports games. When I discovered this book in 2017, it brought me back to tabletop sports gaming, and the rest is history. So inspired by this that it inspired me to take my old games, work on them, and bring them out, and share this. It inspired me to share, inviting people to play in a league. That's how much influence this had on me. So I've had it on my top 5 games of all time, my Desert Island list. This game has been on that list for, 7 years. It is a game I own 3 or 4 copies of, 2 in storage, and then I have one that I've damn near completely worn out, and then I have the one you see on the channel. And I have 2 literally in storage, for safekeeping, because I don't want to ever lose this. I basically travel with a handful of dice and notebook, and I play this pretty much for 7 years. It is outstanding, and I cannot recommend it enough. $7 in paperback, $2 in ebook. You can also get it at DriveThruRPG in ebook. I don't know what it costed. I think it's at $2 there as well. But I'll put a link to go grab it in Lulu for those who are interested in this. And it's not complicated, but somehow, some way, this inspires competition. It inspires your imagination. And before you know it, you're rolling out weeks. And before you know it, you're going through off seasons and you're making schedules and you're doing it again. There's something remarkably addictive about career-based fictional play. And this game it has just enough to keep you going. And again, it has a full football simulator, which I will show again on the channel. So I won't walk through that whole process here, but I will make a video doing a tutorial. I do have a video somewhere on the channel that does a tutorial on this. However, I don't know if it's still there. I don't know if it was... you'd have to do a search on my channel for it. It might still be on the channel. So, all right, thank you. And I will put a link to buy this for those who are interested. Bye-bye.